Hello, this is Annalise from Addicted to Blogs, and today we're going to be learning about a free open source 3D modeling tool called Blender. This is the Blender website at blender.org, and here I'm going to show you how to download Blender. You'd either click here or here. Just going to click on this. Blender 2.63a is the latest version. Check back every so often to make sure you have the latest version installed. You can choose between 32 bits and 64 bits for most of the things. I use Windows 32-bit. Now, once you find the version for your computer, you will click on this link, or whatever link is the one of what you're installing, and you will go through the installation process, and once you finish, you will have installed Blender. I already have it installed, this latest version, so I'm just going to click over here. Now, this is the splash screen. You'll see something quite like this the first time you open Blender. Has the picture from a Mango project, links, some helpful links right here. The interaction, which you should leave at the preset. I always do. The version. Some recent files, which is the only thing that'll be different the first time you open it, because you will not have done anything recently in Blender. And then recover last session. Click anywhere to get off of this. Now, this is a default scene, but before we go into that, we are going to look at the view, some of this stuff around here. So, Blender is really customizable in its layouts. This is just the default layout. There's some up here. This is the info. You should leave this up here. No matter what you do, you should probably leave it up there. It's got file, add, render, help, scene, the engine to render with, version stuff, and stuff about what you've got selected. So that's very important. You'll probably need that at all times. This is the outline. This is the properties panel, another thing that you should probably leave open for the time being. The timeline, you may not need that, depending on what you're doing. The 3D view, which is what you'll be working in most of the time. And this is just a sidebar for the 3D view, which you can open and close by pressing T, which we'll just go over that a little more later in other menus. So, the first thing I want to talk about is selecting and deselecting objects in your scene. Sorry about that. So to select objects, you do not left-click them. You right-click them. So say I want to select my light. I would right-click on it with my mouse, and it will become highlighted in orange. If I want to select the camera, I'd right-click on that. Select the cube again, right-click on that. So that's the basics of that. To move objects around, you would hold down your right mouse button over it and just drag it around, or you could press G, move it around. Z will constrain it to an axis, Y, GY, GX, etc. So I'm just gonna undo that. Moving around on your screen, you can either hold down the middle mouse button and move your mouse around. The middle mouse button I'm using is the scroll wheel on my mouse. So you can set in user preferences. If you don't have a scroll wheel or your scroll wheel doesn't work, you can set a button to work as that. So yes, just hold down the middle mouse button and move around. another way to move your view around is to use the 10 key keys. So say 1 on the 10 key is, or number pad, is front view. If you want to go to the right view, you can press 3. If you want to go to top view, you can press 7. And if you want to go to bottom view, left view, or back view, you'd press, for back view, you'd press Control 1, left view, Control 3, or bottom view, Control 7. Basically, pressing Control and one of the view buttons will select the exact opposite. Will give you the exact opposite view. So, there is also another way to move around your view. Let's go back into front view, and it is holding. If you want to go up and down in increments, you can press hold down Shift and scroll your middle mouse wheel up and down. To go side to side, hold down Control and scroll. So that's about it for the zooming in and out. You may have noticed that I've been zooming in and out throughout this. I am just using my scroll wheel, scrolling in and out and in and out. So yeah, it's easy as that, using your scroll wheel. Now what I'm going to do is, now I will show you how to change modes. So this is object mode, in which you can move around your objects, etc. Just move them around like that. There's also edit mode, to like extrude, etc. Make your objects in the shapes you like. Another tool similar to that, but not exactly the same, is sculpt mode, which you can use tools like a sculptor and make your cube into whatever form. Texture paint, vertex paint, weight paint, those are more advanced and we probably won't go over them in this tutorial. Now, you can change modes by doing just clicking in here. And then viewing modes, like viewport modes, you can do, this is solid, which is the default viewport shading mode. Solid and just doesn't show textures, but it just gives you solid objects. You can also do texture, which does GLSL shading if you've got that enabled. Wireframe, which is just wires. Bounding box, which is just the bounding box of your object. I'm just going to go back to solid. And now, I did say I was going to show you the other menus, so like these sidebar menus over here in the 3D view. To open and close this one over here, you'd press T to close it, T to open it again. You can also left click and drag it. To open the other, you can either click this little plus sign and drag it back and forth with your left mouse button, or you can press N to open it and N to close it again. One thing I wanted to show you is how to do GLSL shading. It would be under N in display, and you'd go to shading. It's set to multi-texture. We'd go to GLSL. Also here you can turn off the grid floor on the XY axes. We can close it again by pressing N. So that's kind of the basics of Blender. I'll probably do some more tutorials on Blender in the near future. Hope you liked it. Oh, one more thing. If you want to go into camera view, see what you're going to see when you render, press 0 and it will go into your camera view. 0 on your number pad or 10 key. And one more thing, to render, you go to render up here and render image, or you press F12 and it will just render real quick, and depending on how much stuff you've got in your scene, it will take more or less time. So that's that. I think that's it. I'm running out of time, so